Welcome, fans, to episode 118 of Rangers Ed, presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. This is your host, Cousin Ed. I'm here with my co-host, Coach Ed. What's up, Coach?
What's going on? I had a successful weekend. I saw a Shakespearean type of play and did not fall asleep.
It's Dante's Inferno. Not Shakespeare, but yeah, type of play.
Well, I said type.
I saw the karaoke video from after. That was worth the price of admission for sure.
That was rough.
Oh man, good times though. Yeah, my sister she's in a play called Dante, or is it called Inferno? I don't know actually.
Inferno, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, they have like billboards up in Times Square for it. Pretty cool stuff. Coach Ed made his way out there. It's good.
Do you know where the listeners can get tickets or anything like that?
I could pull that. I'll send it to Mikey, and we'll put it up later. I don't know off the top of my head, but you should definitely check it out. The performances are, I think, Thursday to Saturday until the end of April. So if you're into that kind of
thing. Funny story. We're in the apartment and Hansel takes a phone call and I hear him going, "Oh no, it's sold out tonight. It's sold out." I'm like, "I'll scout my ticket."
Oh my
God. I'll be like Reese Bobby. Who needs two? Oh my God. Hey, we had a happy birthday. I'll see you inside. Who needs two?
Yeah, it was Rihanna's birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday to her.
Shout out to Ray. Happy birthday.
Dude, funny story about that. So when we went to Chicago, we went to the Blackhawks Rangers game, and we're walking in, and there's a bunch of people outside, and they're saying like, "Who needs two tickets? Who needs two tickets?" And feels like it's like we already have our tickets, and I was like, they're trying. I was like, or no, he said, who's got two? Anyone got tickets? Anyone got tickets? Right? Like that's like the scalper's code for like I actually have tickets to sell or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, she's like, we should sell our tickets. And I was like, what? I'm like, no, they already have tickets. They're trying to sell us tickets. I ruined the whole story, but it was funny, believe me. We got Little Ed over there. What's up, Little Ed?
How we doing? Looking forward to this episode. Got some exciting news to share with the fans. Got a nice guest, a recurring guest here. Second appearance, I guess. Right? Second or third? Second.
I think it's his second.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. We're going to bring on Nick Flaherty from Broadway Breakdown, the blog, BroadwayBreakdown.com. He's going to join us for the episode, and we got some news to share there. Little Ed, I like that hat, dude. The gray with the black. It's nice. I feel like did you get that with me, like in front of me?
Actually, my mom was helping out a friend with her garage sale, just like getting rid of some stuff. Not my mom's garage sale, her friend's garage sale, and she happened to be selling these two brand new Rangers hats. And my mom like sent me a picture, like, "Do you have these yet?" And I was like, "No, those are nice. Like, where are you?" Kind of thing. And she was like, "Oh, I'm at a garage sale. I'll grab them for you." She got these two hats for like $15. Her friend gave them to her for, or whatever.
She haggled them down.
Yeah, and I looked at them. They were literally brand new. Like the tags, the stickers were still on them and everything. So
nice. I like that hat.
Yeah. The other one isn't a Rangers hat. It just says Madison Square Garden, and it has the little old school Madison Square Garden logo on it. So maybe I'll toss that on for an episode.
Yeah.
That's a cool one too. Yeah. It was a nice find by her. Shout out to Mom. She was at our watch party as well on St. Patrick's Day. So she's always a supporter of the show.
Love that. Good find. And Mikey Produces over there. What's up,
What's going on, fellas? What's up? Hopefully everyone had a nice, happy Easter. Easter Bunny brought some nice gifts and eggs and all that good stuff.
A lot of candy, too much.
Yep.
Yeah. Easter. I don't think I've celebrated Easter since I was like 10, but I feel like it's one of those holidays that, we all enjoy the time with family, and it's just a good brunch or something. So Rihanna says you can get the tickets to her show at theater86.ticketleap.com. So I'm going to send this to Mikey, and maybe you could pop this up on the screen. at some point. Theater86.ticketleap.com. If you're a fan of theater, definitely check it out. It's called Inferno. All right, so we got a lot going on. The Rangers are playing right now. We all watched the first period. We took a break to record this episode, so we're going to try and leave that out as much as possible. Otherwise, this will be a super negative episode. So we'll just keep it moving, I guess. Let's jump right into it. Let's get into the Jersey Profile, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey.
Hey, Ranger fans, the season is winding down fast, and the Rangers are preparing for the playoffs. Are you ready for the playoffs? Get ready for your next trip to the Garden with a new Ranger jersey customized by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Don't settle for any imitations. Pick your jersey from any era, send it to Oscar for professional, hand-stitched, official NHL kits. Get your favorite throwback Rangers jersey, all-star jersey, or retro ready for postseason. Even the Stadium Series kits are in. So get in contact with Oscar on Instagram at OscarsPSH and wear it proud. Let's go, Rangers.
You're muted, cuz.
Kiddo.
Pull the little head.
Number 18, Walt Kachuk.
Kachuk.
Which I actually was looking into this a little bit because I was curious why his career ended so shortly. His career ended after a puck hit him in the eye in 1981. He never came back from that. So times have changed. I mean, you see guys get hit in the eye nowadays, and somehow they come back. I mean, I guess it could still happen. I can't remember the last player to get their career ended by a puck in the eye.
Well, Barad pretty much did.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he played a long time after, but
never the same.
Never the same, right? And I know Stahl got hit in the face. I don't remember if it was his eye. Honestly, he wasn't the same either after that.
It was his eye for sure because he had to wear the like almost the full face shield. He wore like the huge visor, or still does, I guess. He's still playing. Right? He's on the Flyers.
Yeah, he's still going. So interesting, and
he
also
was never the same though. Definitely not.
Yeah, also Kachuk, when he first came to the Rangers, the organization decided that his name was too complicated, so they called him Taychuk. That's how they announced him.
Taychuk.
That's how they announced him at the game, and that's how they referred to him. And then finally, they said, "You know what? We'll use your correct pronunciation." And they called him Kachuk after that. He's Ukrainian, born in Ukraine. His family moved to Canada when he was 2. Just interesting little tidbits there. Played almost 1,000 games as a Ranger, 945 games, 678 points, and was a plus 184 in his career. A pretty good player.
He was actually, not to correct you, but he was actually born in Germany.
Oh, he was born in Germany? Sorry.
His family's from Czech, so I think that, or not from Czech, from Ukraine, like you said, but he was actually, then they moved to Germany. He was born there, and then from there to Ontario. So, I mean, according to Wikipedia, it says he was the first player born in Germany to appear in an NHL game.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay. Well, I stand corrected here and there. It is all right. I'll live with it. Interesting. Just an interesting story, from the 70s. Yeah, guys coming from Europe. It was rare, right, Coach? I mean, how many Europeans were there in the 70s?
I had no idea he came from Europe, to be honest with you. I thought he was Canadian 100%.
And, well, he was. He was 2 years old. He was in Canada.
Well, you know what I mean. I didn't know he was
pretty
born
much
in
Canadian.
another country.
Right.
But I do remember my father calling him Taychuk all the time, and me and your father used to always look at each other and like, "What's he talking about?"
Well, there you go. Now you understand. Years later, the good thing we do this podcast so you could learn.
But what I remember what me and your father used to always like mimic and imitate when we used to play our little street hockey and stuff. He was famous for using a straight stick, straight curve. When the curves are coming out, that was one of his. I don't know what you would call it.
My dad was obsessed with that. Any player that used a straight stick, he'd always be like, "I don't know why they all don't do that. They can shoot right in." I'm like, "Dad, that's not how it works."
I remember that, like our parents and stuff. Him always saying that. But quick trivia for Coach Ed. What was the nickname of the line that he centered between Fairbairn and
Fairbairn, Billy Fairbairn?
I always mess that one up. And what was the other guy? Dave How do you pronounce that? Balon.
Balon. I
Allen?
don't remember him.
They said he's centered between Fairburn and Balon. Balon.
I don't remember that name, to be honest with you. I
Oh, he
remember
was
Billy
later
Fairburn.
replaced by Steve Vickers. There you go.
Okay.
That's why you don't remember him. So what was the nickname of their line?
I don't know. I'll remember when you say it, obviously, but
The Bulldog line.
Well, they were the checking line. He was the
Right.
big,
That's what it
that
says.
was the big checking line.
It says the Bulldog line complemented the gag line.
Yeah. They were
Makes
big
sense.
on
The high scoring.
two-way hockey. Billy Fairburn was like that third line, prototypical third line, not really scoring a lot, but that's the story with back in
So
the
it's like
70s.
the checking line, kind of.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He was named number 4 full time in the 100 Ranger greats in that book that they always refer to.
40
number?
what?
Number 14.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Rangers history, but
I mean, that's going to look a lot different in 10 years, hopefully.
Yeah.
With the current roster. But all right. So prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 47-20-4. They went 3-0-0. They are 50-20-4, 104 points. First in the Metro, first in the NHL. They started out against Philadelphia, a win 6-5 in overtime. Adam Fox with the game-winning goal in a crazy third period with that I just did not understand, but a win's a win. And then into Colorado, Shesterkin against Alexander Georgiev, our old friend, a 3-2 shootout victory in that one. A well-fought game by both teams. And then an 8-5 win over Arizona. Crazy game. Jonathan Quick gets his 392nd win, most ever among USA-born goalies. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's bring on our guest, Nick Flaherty from Broadway Breakdown.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Nicky Blogs.
What's up, Nicky?
Nicky Blogs. That's your name from now on.
Yeah, I you know what? I have to credit a friend with that. He came up with it himself. I'm not that original, so I might have to write him a royalty check one day. But that's probably a good thing then. That means we're making money, so we'll take that.
Yeah, we will. So what's going on? The blog's looking good. I saw your 30 clubs in 30 days on the baseball thing and prep for fantasy baseball. It was helpful.
Well, I prepped myself for fantasy baseball, and I'm not a great player at it, so I'm hoping that it helps along the way. But I was joking with people. It was proof of not having much of a social life at the time for a few weeks there, writing them all along the way. But they were a lot of fun to put together, and baseball probably after hockey and the Rangers in particular would be my next favorite thing to actually write about. So they were a fun series to work on.
Yeah, I feel like baseball is kind of losing its luster with the casual fan, which is sad. It's a great sport, and it is hard to sometimes get into it in April, May when the Rangers are doing well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the Mets are playing right now, but I was watching the Ranger game instead, so it is what it is. But I really enjoyed that series. So fans, definitely check out Nicky's blog, Broadway Breakdown. I did confirm this. .com works. .com, right?
We just upgraded to that, so you are correct.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So what's been going on with the blog lately? I saw we were talking the other day. You got some doings happening over there at Broadway Breakdown.
Yeah, well, we've been really busy with a lot of different features and adding new series to the game. Where actually, I just started working on one before I came on the show with you guys as well. It's going to be another weekly series that we're going to add to the mix. But we definitely want to keep adding content and adding contributors as we keep going here, because I have the ability. I churn out a lot of content on my own. I am not a one-man army. I don't have enough hands and arms to get it done. So we're excited for the future here, but we're actually the next published article will be number 100. We started back in August, so it's been a pretty good clip to this point. But the revamp has done us some favors. We're seeing some increases in readers, and thanks to you guys on that front as well, because the first appearance on the show about 2 months ago now. That was, I think, has did us some favors and brought some new people into the fold, and since then it's continued to go really well. So I miss doing this. Like I told you guys last time, it scratched the itch. It was that creative side of me that really needed to get back into it, and I'm enjoying having that ability to put something out there that people are communicating with us about too. The social media feed's gone a long way as well.
Yeah, that's great. We gotta. Should we tease what's in the works here, little Ed?
Let's just get right into it. What are we waiting for?
I'm feeling the urge. I'll let you do it. I'll tee you up.
It's your house. So I don't want to drive the bus too much. You guys, it's your call.
Yeah, I'm gonna let little Ed do it.
Well,
I
guess
you on the spot.
All right. I guess lack of a better word or lack of better words, Nikki's blog and his website is going to be the official blog / website of the Rangers Ed podcast. So moving forward, we're going to be partnering up. Hopefully, Cousin Ed and I, and maybe Coach Ed, Mikey, if he wants, to write a few blogs and participate in some content for Nick on his website. And maybe we'll, I don't know, what were we saying? Like answering prompts, like each of us, like on one article, and like getting each of our opinions just in writing. So you have something to do in the office while you're at work and killing time, as opposed to listening to us, right? So yeah, just like some things like that. Recurring guests on Nick will come on to Rangers Ed to talk Rangers, and then we'll guest on his podcast, and they'll kind of be like a brother little podcast to us, and they'll fall under the same umbrella. So I guess that's the basic gist of it. Nick, if you want to add anything, feel free.
Well, first of all, thank you for mentioning my podcast. We are still in a little bit of a hard launch phase there right now. We're working out some kinks, but we are available on Spotify is right now the best place to find us. You can find the episodes under the same name, the Broadway Breakdown Sports, as the blog and the social media feed. So we're all coordinated there. But yeah, listen, I've been listening to you guys for a while. It's been a ton of fun to come on the show as a guest, and then we started to interact, and we tailgated together, which, listen, I believe tailgating and all the fun and the partying that went on, they can start building real relationships there. So that was a big step for all of us. It was a fun day in the swamps of Jersey, as I like to put it. But we've had a lot of good conversations about this so far. And I mean, you hit on all the bullet points there, Eddie, but I think where we can take this and what we can do together is really exciting. And I think we present a lot of opportunities for people to not just consume Ranger content as 5 Ranger fans who have to go through therapy sessions together and talk these games out, even the ones that mean a little bit less, like tonight's. But it's going to be an avenue for all New York sports. And I know you guys are fans like me of your teams as well. It's room for everybody, and we'll cover the national stuff too. I don't want to just avoid talking about the wider scope, because that's how the fans become more informed. Like you said, the 30 for 30 series, Cousin Ed, was an avenue to bring people more content and more stories about teams they may not know about. And I think that makes everybody a more well-rounded fan. I want to try and impart the knowledge that I think I could bring to the table to others. So with you guys in the fold, I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, so Nikki's podcast is going to cover all New York sports, not just the Rangers. I mean, the Rangers are our thing, right? I mean, we discussed that as well. So Nikki's going to come on and hit all the major points, major news around the Rangers. And then, if you want to head on over and hear about the Knicks, a lot of baseball talk over there, like we just mentioned. He did the 30 teams in 30 days, and then he covered each of his own blogs, audio form, I guess you could say, on the podcast. I listened to those episodes, very informative, like Cousin Ed just said, for fantasy baseball. So, I mean, if you guys aren't just Ranger fans, you're Knicks, Yankees, Mets fans out there, or Giants, Jets, right? All the New York teams. Head on over to the Broadway Breakdown blog and listen to his podcast for all that info as well.
I know, Mike, this is going to be up Mikey's alley, but we're starting to get into NFL draft season here. So we're going to be getting the football cranked up.
Dude, as long as Belichick, Jesus, I'm still used to that. But as long as the Patriots take a good quarterback and pick number 3, I'm okay with it. So
you and all the other fan bases, right? That's all we can ask for in this league.
Yeah. So, Cuz, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say you forgot the biggest part is that hopefully soon we'll be having some Rangers Head merch available on Nikki's website as well. So that is exciting because I'm tired of texting Little Ed and being like, make me one of those tank tops, because then he gets mad at me and it's like this whole thing. And now I could just go on, view it, and send him a screenshot and be like, send one of these to me. Here's the money. Yeah. So, I'm excited for that.
And we get more tabs.
I got a lot of orders.
All the merch.
I got a bunch of orders on tap ready to go.
Well, we could certainly take orders via Instagram or text message or email, whatever's easier for you listeners out there. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, I got the sweatshirt hanging up behind me. I got the St. Patrick's Day t-shirt. We got that in tank top form as well. Got the Rangers Ed tank top right next to it, the blue and red, and then over my other shoulder is the Rangers Ed. What is this called, cuz? The long sleeve tee or something?
God, the hooded long sleeve tee, cooling t-shirt or something. Some weird.
Yeah, so basically it's like a dry fit t-shirt. It's a long sleeve dry fit t-shirt with a hood. So
right,
I guess if you're a runner out there or something, I'm sure it's great. I like to just wear it around the house. Kayaking, I'm sure it's great if you're trying to hide from the sun but also stay cool. No, seriously, if you're outside, it's a nice cooling material. So yeah, we're working on some stuff. If you want to throw in an initial order, I already gave out to a few close fans of the show. Placed some early orders and sent me some funds. So yeah, reach out to us or reach out to me on Instagram, and you can definitely grab one of those before they officially go on sale on the Broadway Breakdown blog. BroadwayBreakdown.com.
Yes, there you go.
We'll get it.
Exactly. It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
/ Rangers Ed gear.
Yeah, there you go. We need promo code Nikki Blogs.
Handing out deals already. There we go.
All right, let's start talking some Rangers. So, Nikki, we'll start with you. The Rangers are the first team in the league to 50 wins, 3 points up on Carolina with a game in hand for the top spot in the Metro, and 3 points up on Carolina and Boston with a game in hand for the number 1 seed in the East. 1 point up on Dallas for the President's Trophy with a game in hand on Dallas. I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Double Defense last week. Do we care about the President's Trophy? And if not, do we care about the number 1 seed in the East? Or does none of it matter to you at all at this point?
So I actually wrote about some of this probably about 2 weeks ago now. And the piece was, you can go check it out on the site. It was called Keep Calm and Believe. I had just come off going to the game against Winnipeg, and you'd have sworn that they were 24-50, not 50-24, after some of the people that were sitting around me were talking when the game went final. And I know that, the fan base has its inclination to be negative sometimes. Understandably, it's one cup since World War II. It happens. But I'm not super concerned with where they finish. Winning the President's Trophy would be great. If they don't, that's fine too. I understand the not wanting to play the Lightning aspect. We all agree. I think that the Capitals and some of these other teams are weaker, but as we say in sports, you got to be careful with who you wish for and who you draw. No one's going to roll over and die for them. If it's the Flyers, I'm sure Torts and the Flyers will show up and block a ton of shots and try and make the games miserable. And the Caps, OV will show up just because it's the Garden. There is going to be tough opponents. Personally, this may sound kind of out there. I actually don't want to play either of the local rivals if either of them should squeak in, because I just find that to be a massive headache if they have to play the Islanders or the Devils. I just feel like that's way too much proximity and all that to deal with. But I want them to get there healthy. I want them to keep playing as well as they can and just finish as strong as they can. Getting Lindgren and Trouba back was a real sigh of relief. So let's just get there in one piece.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, has your opinion changed at all since last week, or you still feel
well, go ahead.
No.
I still feel like what?
No, I mean, I feel like last week you were more so let somebody else win the President's Trophy, but we'll take first in the East,
I'm going to agree with Laviolette said. If I'm coaching, I want to win every game, and I want to keep my habits right. I want to play the right way, like they keep preaching, and all the players keep saying the right thing. If we go back to that Winnipeg game, like I said last week, I thought they played a pretty good game that game. They come in, they beat the Avs, they beat Boston. The Flyers, they beat in a crazy game. They still came out on top. If they lose that game, everybody's like, oh, what the hell? They're winning games. They're on a streak. They're playing well. They're winning the shootout games and they're winning the tight games. So to me, that means they're pretty much ready for any style that's coming at them. They have some physical play. They have a good mix going. I think they just need to build momentum to the playoffs. If Carolina passes them by a point, I don't care, as long as they're not losing 5 games in a row going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Well, Little Ed, on that note, you pointed out the Rangers don't have a game left against a playoff team except Philadelphia, team currently in playoff position. I mean, they do play Detroit, who's battling, and Philadelphia, who's battling. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing for the team? Because there is something to say about playing good competition heading into the playoffs.
I mean, on paper, yeah. On paper, it's a good thing, I guess, for the President's Trophy. But in reality, the Rangers just don't play well against bad teams. I mean, they always have trouble against teams like the Sabres, the Coyotes. I mean, I feel like we talk about it every episode when they run into one of those teams where they just have an off game. They might come out on top, but they just don't have their best game. I mean, recently against the Coyotes wasn't a great example. They came out flying. Laffy had his first 5-point game. Certain players came out, and that's what they should do against a team like that. Let up 5 goals, not necessarily, but definitely put up 8. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's a bad thing because this kind of rung a bell. I feel like this might have happened last year also, where they didn't have a tough schedule towards the end. And it obviously bit them in the ass where they just weren't coming in playing playoff-style hockey. But I think Laviolette will keep them focused. I mean, let's see what happens in the remainder of the game against Pittsburgh tonight as we're recording this. But yeah, against non-playoff teams, I don't really see it going well for them. Maybe in the standings, but not necessarily like getting into good habits and playing the playoff style hockey. Like Coach Ed said, I'd rather them play like a Carolina, or I know they have the Devils coming up, but even just a rival, just that they're going to come out flying no matter what. They do have a few games against the Islanders, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think they have.
Am
some
I the only one that does
up.
want them to win the President's Trophy?
No, I want them to win the President's Trophy. I don't really care about that. But if it's too easy for them to win it right now against bad teams, then it's not going to be good for them to go into the playoffs with that mentality. I don't think.
I think most fans, Mikey, are just thinking, I want to win the cup. I don't care about the President's Trophy. It doesn't matter. If they win it, like fine. If they
There's
don't
levels.
win it,
President's Trophy, first round, second round.
Well, historically, the President's Trophy doesn't bode well for the eventual winner. So
no, so they said that, but then I saw this stat. This is interesting, Little Ed. So they make it like there's a President's Trophy curse, right? Nikki, you'll chime in on this too in a second.
Mm-hmm.
They make it like there's a President's Trophy curse, but they looked it up in the last, I forgot what it was, 30 years or something. The President's Trophy winner has won more cups than any other seed. So it's like, what is there, a second seed curse, a third seed curse? Like they've won more Stanley Cups than any other seed in the playoffs. So is it really a curse? It's just that there's 16 teams.
That's the complete opposite of what everyone believes.
Well, they act like it's a curse because they don't win every year. It's not like in football. I feel like a number 1 seed is like guaranteed to go to the championship game, or it's different. In hockey, you can lose in the first round and be the President's Trophy winner, like Boston last year.
Very easily.
So so you still got to play the playoff games and win them. It's just that there's no seed that is really favorable. It's just hard. It's just really hard to win the cup. So it doesn't really matter where you end up, right? Nikki, I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I saw the same stat that you're referring to, and I did think it was interesting. I mean, I never personally believe that the President's Trophy has some kind of curse that comes with it. I think it's all relative to the teams that we're talking about. I know everyone goes, well, Boston got eliminated last year, and they didn't play their best in that series, but that series took a decided turn in their case when Linus Ullmark got hurt in the 5th game. They came home up 3-1. He probably played Game 5 and Game 6 with a concussion, and then they switched goalies for Game 7, and Jeremy Swayman didn't look nearly as good. In the context of each of those teams and how they did, you might come up with some different reasons than they had a really long regular season and they won the President's Trophy. I think there are a lot of dominant teams, especially in the East case, with Carolina, with Boston being near the top, though I take some issue with them being there with all their loser points in the overtime and the shootout this year. But Toronto's really good. Florida is excellent. I think they're the team to beat in the East, other than the Rangers. It's no one's going to be jinxed or cursed if they don't end up going deep. It's just the draw and what side you're on of the bracket, especially in this divisional format.
Yeah, it's not just that. So look, here's the stat I saw. Since 85-86, so 40 years, the President's Trophy winner has won the Stanley Cup 8 times, which feels like not a lot. But what's 8 into 40 is 20%. That's 20% of the time the President's Trophy winner wins the Stanley Cup. That's a lot. I think that's a pretty high
good
percentage when there's 16 seeds.
If the Rangers
right?
win the President's Trophy, I'll take 20% odds at the Cup.
Yeah, for sure. 20%.
And the Rangers are one of them, of course, 94.
Yeah,
I mean, and they played like it through 2 rounds. For all I'm sure there were people then, I don't want to play the Islanders, so I don't want to play Washington, and they beat them. I mean, it was 9 games total in the first 2 rounds to get through that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really care about it, but if they win it, great. It's still cool. But
I mean, Nikki nailed it on the head. You need the Vezina goalie going through every round. The President's Trophy has Bobrovsky's the one who got them through Boston and through the playoffs. I mean, they were a good team, but the goaltending, watching those games, it was incredible to me. That was the difference maker, and that's what you're going to need. It doesn't matter what team it is. You have to have that goalie back there. And like you said last week, it doesn't matter if it's Kempe. It doesn't matter if it's Aiden Hill. They have to be hot in that playoffs. You have to have that Vezina type performance in the playoffs.
All right. So speaking of goalies, sorry, Little Ed, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I saw a post online that said something about someone commented on one of ours that you don't need a big name goalie or something in the playoffs, he said goalies don't matter as much in the playoffs nowadays or something stupid. And I was like, no, you just don't need a big name goalie, but you still need the goalie to get hot. Yeah, it's just misconstrued that the last couple of years, coaches said, Aiden Hill's not a big name goalie, Darcy Kemper is not a big name goalie, but they're surrounded by good teams and they still have to stop the puck and perform. They become big name goalies. They sign the big ticket after that. Jordan Pennington, the same thing. He came out of nowhere, but he was the hottest goalie in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's unquestioned by anyone with a brain that you need a goaltender that's playing well to win a Stanley Cup 99.9% of the time. I mean, Darcy Kemper, I don't know how well he played for Colorado, but they were just so good. But most of the time, you need a goalie who's playing well. It doesn't have to be a big name.
It was also Francois. Francois stepped in and he played well for the Avalanche that year, right? In round 1 or 2?
Yeah, he played a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I think some of that theory comes from the Blackhawks winning 3 cups with 2 different goalies. And, Corey Crawford, I used to joke with my friends, as much as I liked Corey Crawford, I said he was like Alex Smith. He was the ultimate game manager in net. He was just, to use a football analogy, was just there. But he still had to make a big stop when called upon. Kemper did that for the Avalanche in the overtime games against the Lightning. He made a couple that were difference makers in the series. It's all well and good, but people say that. I see that a lot on Twitter, like you guys do. And then I go, so should we just tell Igor he's not wanted anymore? Is it just punt him aside? Because it's funny, right? The last time I was on with you guys, we were sitting here talking about Igor's, real struggle, how terrible that run was. And now here we are, he's playing so much better. And it's just a matter of him having his game right. And it happens to the best of them. He could be the difference and be the reason why our dreams come true in a few months.
Yeah, Igor, can you tone it down a little bit so we can pay you less on your next contract? And we don't really need you to be that good to win the cup, apparently. So just be average, Please, thanks. I'm sure he'd be like, okay,
He's usually funny like that.
Speaking of Igor goaltending, Jonathan Quick, we got to mention this 392nd win in his career, passing Ryan Miller, becoming the all-time USA-born goalie wins leader. That gives the Rangers the all-time goalie wins leader from the USA and the all-time coach wins leader from the USA, Peter Laviolette. So I mean, Coach Ed, I know you're a big, Patriot, like a Saul, but Coach Ed, I mean, you got to love the USA presence on the Rangers right now, especially when you're talking all-time great USA hockey. Peter Laviolette's up there, Jonathan Quick, and we got up-and-comers like Adam Fox, even a guy like Kreider. There's a big USA presence on the Rangers. I mean, you got to love that.
Jacob Trouba, Lindgren,
Trocheck
roster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
DeAndre, your boy.
Not only that, they have 3 of the top U.S. goalies in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they got Richter
and Beezer.
And Beezer's USA. Yeah.
So they have 3 out of 5 of the top goalies from the United States were rostered at one point.
Interesting.
And Henrik Lundqvist, the all-time Swedish-born goalie.
You got to count that.
Oh god, it's so funny.
Yeah, I mean it is very it's a little bonus. I think it's great. I love the way Igor went up to him after the game, and he was involved and he got into it and gave him a nice high five and he was smiling. The whole team was there. It was exciting.
You saw they gave him the platinum stick today.
Incredible, yeah.
Really nice. He had his whole family there. Congratulations to Quick. Obviously, he's had a great season, a resurgent year, 17 wins as a backup goalie. I mean, hell of a season by him, and that's quite a milestone. There was some that didn't think he would get there based on his play in the last few years, but all it took was Benoit Laird, 5 minutes in the video room, and here we are. Jonathan Quick, most wins ever by a USA-born goalie. I want to quickly ask you about Laviolette, Coach, before I move on to the next topic. So Laviolette, does he garner, when you're talking about Coach of the Year, top 3, is Laviolette in that conversation? I mean, you have like, I tend to think of that award as for a team not expected to do well, and then like Tortorella in Philly or Tocchet in Vancouver. I mean, is Laviolette in that conversation, though? I mean, the Rangers are first in the league.
I mean, I have to say so. I mean, there's going to be Brunette in Nashville also. There's different parameters. I mean, the Rangers probably, out of all those teams we're mentioning, had the most talent coming out of last year, maybe other than Vancouver. But for the disappointing season the Rangers had last year at the end to where they are now, to be the best in the league, I think is a big jump. I can't see him not being nominated or in that topic of conversation.
And let's not forget that no one was picking the Rangers to win the Metro, except for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Little Ed hit all his predictions this year, and he can't wait
not
to
yet.
Bring it up. You hit Panarin.
Yes, I hit Panarin, but
you hit Panarin. Right, he wants the first in the Metro.
No one had him.
Mike,
I'll be that guy and say I thought they'd have a really good regular season, but I did not think they would be this good. I thought they'd have a good year. I thought they'd be top 3 in the division. A lot of people were saying no playoffs. I thought that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I think he's done a fabulous job. I mean, to both of your points, he's been terrific. And the only problem for him, it's funny, he could be a finalist for the Jack Adams, yet he might lose to his former understudy in Hartford with the job Knobloch's done since he took over the Oilers.
And we forgot about Knobloch. Yeah,
Knobloch too. Yeah,
he's in that combo. So I don't think
There's
he
a lot
gets
of
a
good
nomination.
coaches out there right now.
I just don't think he gets it. I don't think he gets the nomination because I think there's too many teams that came out of nowhere, and their coaches will get more recognition. Like Tortorella and Tocchet in particular.
Do the Rangers get credit for the Predators' winning streak since they were supposed to go to the U2 concert at the Sphere and then they didn't? Do we get extra? Do we get bonus points for that or something? Come on.
Wait, what? I missed this. What happened?
So the Predators lost.
The turning point, yeah.
Yeah, they lost to Dallas 9-2 at home, and then they went on a road trip to the West Coast, and they went to Vegas first, and they were on their off day as a team outing. We're going to go see U2 at the Sphere, the famed MSG Sphere. And
why?
I guess just like a team bonding.
That's like the big show right now at the Sphere.
Yeah. So Brunette told them they were not allowed. Him and Trotz said they weren't allowed. And then in the 18 games following, they went 16-0-2. So, and they have lost 3 in a row since. So maybe they need another concert that they can't go to. But
that's such a Coach Ed move. You can't go till you win some games. You're not going to a concert.
You got to focus a little bit. Yeah, team bonding's good, but obviously push the right buttons.
There's other ways to do it.
Yeah. Speaking of USA-born players, Chris Kreider, his 300th career goal, a milestone for Chris, third all-time in Rangers history. As Little Ed said earlier, I'm not really sure if that's bad for the Rangers history or if that's good, but 300 goals, nothing to sneeze at. 107 away now from being first all-time for the Rangers, breaking Roger Albert's record of 406. So a couple questions here. Does he break that record? 107 goals. Is he going to get 107 more goals? If he doesn't, does he go up in the rafters anyway? Does he need a cup to go up in the rafters? Does he need to break the goal record without a cup? Like, where are you at with Chris Kreider's number 20?
Mikey, is this your trivia question, Mikey? There's multiple parts to this.
Yeah.
Do we get a point for each answer?
There is a 2-point question coming up.
Well, I'm throwing ideas out to spark your brain so you guys can waddle it around. And Coach, I'll start with you though. I don't no time. Go for it.
I mean, there are Rangers that are up in the rafters who have not won a cup, so I'm not going to say that that's the definite parameter. I mean, I think as a career player with the Rangers, if he starts and finishes it for 15 to 20 years, and he's got these goals and power plays, and I think he's a Mr. Ranger. I think he's right there. I would say he goes up in the rafters personally.
Regardless if he breaks Gilbert's record or wins a cup at this point, you think he's probably going up there?
He's got to go. He's got to get. I think he's going to break it. And I think he'll go up in the rafters. I think he's got 3 years left in him, and I think he can get 30 goals a year or 30 odd goals, and I think he'll do it.
Yeah. Little Ed, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with that. I think he's got a couple 30-goal seasons left in him, and I think he'll finish with the Rangers. And if he wins a cup, I mean, there's no question. But yeah. I mean, I think he's got to go up there. Like Coach had said, there's guys up there that haven't won. I don't think he's going to go immediately like Lundqvist did, like right after he retires or whatever. I don't think that's the case unless he wins the cup. But eventually, I think they'll definitely honor Kreider for sure.
Yeah, Nikki, what do you think?
I have always been, as long as I've been a Ranger fan, I've been a Chris Kreider fan. I really started watching the team closely in 2010, and that first playoff spring in 2012 with him on the team was where I fell in love with him as a player. I have actually my little shrine to Kreider over my shoulder here. It's him crashing into Price. He signed that. So
I love it.
Nice.
Did Price sign it?
That's nice.
Actually, when I went to the signing, my friend brought him the smaller version of the picture first, and we put it down in front of him, and we were the third people in line, and he laughed. And my friend said, "Did we pick a good one?" And he goes, "You picked the best one in the whole pile, man." So he gets a kick out of it still. I think he loves getting booed at the Bell Center. I have a smaller version as well of him celebrating in front of Torts when he had his hat trick against the Canucks back in 2014. So I love Chris. He'll always be one of my favorite Rangers. I fully think he deserves to be in the rafters. He has bridged now almost, it feels like 3 eras of this team. Like he came up as a rookie with the Torts team, kind of established himself under Vigneault, almost helped them win a cup, and then stayed through the letter, stayed through having a blood clot and missing almost an entire season and like worrying that he might not ever play another game. He may not be the guy that wears the C, but he's the de facto leader of this team. At times, I feel like he's the emotional leader of this team. I think he's rafter material. You said it, Coach. He's Mr. Ranger for this era. And I think while his line mate and his best friend, Mika Zibanejad, will be a really well-remembered and well-liked Ranger for a long time, and the bread man will be in there. And, if Trocheck plays his whole contract out, he's going to be really well-liked, I think, here for a long term, too, because I feel like Trocheck's the blend of, 5 different players that we all like on this team in our history as fans. I think Kreider's going to be the guy that kind of defines the whole window.
Oh, I like that. It's well spoken. Mikey, what do you think?
I think Nick took all the words out of my mouth, but one thing I will add is Oscar needs to get me my Kreider Stadium Series jersey ASAP. But
well, I sent mine to Oscar, and I said pick a player to put it on, but you have to get Little Ed's approval, and they have to have played in the game. Is the only rule I gave him.
We've been in discussions.
I think if Kreider doesn't play, knock on wood, doesn't play another game for the Rangers, I think you have a hard time putting his numbers up, regardless of what happens, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's close right now, to be honest with you. 300 goals. He's third all time in the team in goals. I mean, that's pretty impressive. It's close. I think if he breaks the record and doesn't win a cup, for sure he's up. If he wins a cup, it doesn't matter about the record. He's going to be close enough to it and win a cup, he'll get up. So I think it's likely his number is retired by the Rangers. Very likely.
I don't want to assume this, but I feel like he's the type that takes a late career discount so he doesn't have to move. I mean, he just got married this past summer too. Like I think his roots are here. This is his life.
He already took a discount. Sure.
Yeah, he already took a discount to stay through the rebuild. I mean, he could have been like, "Nah, trade me. I want to win," But he took a discount already, so I could see that. All right, so Kreider, a long-term Ranger. Now let's talk about a short-term Ranger, Alexis Lafreniere.
Sorry. What I found interesting that was Mika wasn't too far behind him in power play goals. Was that as a Ranger or was that Mika's total career? So, like, everyone says that Kreider's Mr. PPG, and Mika's got like 2 less power play goals than him.
I know.
Wherever one goes, the other follows. They are they are best buds.
Coach,
Mika takes like 100 shots on the power play a year, so that means bound to score some of them.
Yeah, Coach, what you gotta say? I'm not gonna.
The kiss on the helmet.
Did anyone see the kiss on the helmet after the 300th goal?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
What? You didn't see it?
No, I missed that.
The moment of the game was when Kreider threw the puck at the ref after the ref.
That was
the review
hilarious.
That
was awesome. That was awesome. That was
funny.
Great to see Kreider show some emotion after his emotionless streak, we'll call it.
He was literally holding the puck in his glove, waiting for the review. He was just sitting there holding the puck.
He knew it.
Mine,
he knew
like my puck, like my puck.
Yeah.
Why did they give it to
then he scores. Well, I missed the initial kiss on that goal, but I definitely saw the one on his actual 300th goal. And Mika came over and gave him a kiss on the helmet. I was like, this has just gone far enough.
They're quite the package deal, but
they love each other, man.
I love it. Don't get me wrong, but like it's just I don't know. If they were both putting up points, I guess might be a different story, but it just drives me mad.
Mika's got a decent season going. It's not like
I know, but it's just
under 50. I get it, but they're 50 wins and he's doing good. He's plus 20 or whatever. The guy's playing good hockey.
He's down. He's having a down year, man. Fox has more points than Mika and he's played 10
I understand that.
Let's be real.
But the Rangers have 50 wins. Other guys are putting up points that are career years. It's happening. That's the way it is.
Well, Coach, the Rangers have 50 wins and Keandre has been on the team every game. So it is what it is. Don't criticize him.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, okay.
Don't criticize him. He's part of the team. And they have 50 wins.
Mika's got 25 goals, could possibly and likely get 30. And Keandre...
No, he's not getting 30.
Keandre's just horrible.
He might not score again.
He might
the rest of his contract.
I don't want to divert too much attention away from the next topic, but I did just want to say on Zibanejad, and I mean, I think we all like Mika, but it hasn't been his best season. I mean, compared to what we've seen him be, he's been pretty dominating offensively at times. And there's been some interesting conversation, especially I think Vince Mercogliano interviewed a lot of his teammates about what Mika's done this year that maybe is different. And Kreider talked about him almost cheating for defense, trying to help the team have a more rugged identity. He talked about that preseason on Henrik Lundqvist's podcast, actually. But since the deadline, in the 12 games since they brought in particular, Alex Wenberg, who has been drawing more of the defensive matchups, Zibanejad's got 9 points in those 12 games with 5 goals and 4 assists, and he's got 5 points at even strength, which was a big complaint in the first half of the season. He can be more prolific than that. I think we all agree, but it does feel like, at least of late, especially the Flyer game, felt a little more vintage Mika. Like he was running.
I just remove all Flyer games from any conversation about Mika because he just destroys them. So it just skews all the numbers.
I was at the COVID game when there was about 200 people in the arena, and
but also Nicky,
6 points.
9 points in 12 games is not good enough for Mika Zibanejad. He's a point
I agree,
per game
but it
guy.
is point per game.
He's not
a point per game. It's a start. If we're looking to get him going, it's a start. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like his current pace, like 60 over 80, you know. But whatever. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and complain too much about Mika.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Alexis Lafreniere. All right,
Yes.
His first career hat trick, first 50-point season. What a performance it was against Arizona, Lafreniere. And just to see this kid do most of his damage at even strength, he's got 6 points on the power play, and he's got 52 points coming into tonight. That's an insane it's insane production. I mean, 46 even strength points from Alexis Lafreniere and 25 goals. I mean, it's just so good to see coming into the year. All the hate this kid got, trade him, he's a bust. And now everybody's saying that about Capo Caco. And that's going to be the theme for Capo Caco now. And I just want fans to just be patient. And I'm keep saying this. I tweet it. I say it to my friends in text. Just wait. Give the kid time. Be patient. He's young. About Caco. Guys, tell me, first of all, praise Lafreniere, and then tell me if I'm crazy about my opinion on Caco. Let's start with Nicky.
Well, on Laff, I mean, it's been a remarkable step forward. And I didn't want to just trade him at the end of preseason, but I mean, I'd be lying if I said that his preseason and training camp wasn't concerning. I mean, he really wasn't. He wasn't a factor, and it was pretty well documented that, you know, Laviolette kind of gave him the opening night vote of confidence, starting him with Panarin and Trocheck to give him that mental boost, and he's been repaid in spades with bringing him in. I think it's been a great season for him in a lot of ways. His two-way game is there. He scores a lot of clutch goals. He's, you know, tallying with the net empty. He's coming through in all situations. So, I mean, I'm thrilled with him. Arizona was just a ton of fun. It was like a crowning achievement for him in a season that's been so good. I think on Caco, I don't want to say that anyone's crazy for wanting to back him. I've expressed the last time that I was on with you guys that I'm frustrated with him at times, and I'm frustrated with his lack of finishing. It concerns me that he has a hard time putting the puck in the net, even from right on the goal line. But he's a really good two-way player, and he's physical, and he's willing to at least use his frame from a physical standpoint of protecting the puck well in possession. So I do think he's a valuable guy to have for the playoff run. I don't know if his long-term future is here, but that's a conversation for July. That's not an issue for now, at least in my mind.
Now it's my turn, Mikey. Shout out to Oscar because I want my Laffy Stadium Series jersey before the season's over. Laffy's been one of my favorite players since he got drafted. I've seen something in him. Coach Ed, I'm sure, will say the same, that we could tell by the style of play, his coachability, his, I don't know, whatever, lack of a better word, like determinedness to get better and not to give up on himself and stuff like that. And it's paying off now. And I mean, obviously playing with a player like Panarin and Trocheck has a big part of it as well. But, you know, like, you surround yourself by good players, you make yourself better, and good things are going to happen. I mean, the even strength points thing is just unbelievably impressive. I mean, you look around the league and it's just not spoken about enough because everyone else gets praised because they have so many more points. But very rarely do you hear, like on NHL Network or on the radio or anything, about how good Laffy's doing compared to these other players because he doesn't have as many points. But then you look at the even strength numbers, it's like, how is he doing that? It's pretty wild, you know? And because even Panarin and Trocheck, they all get power play time. He gets little to nothing, you know? So yeah, I mean, his confidence is off the charts recently. His plays with the puck, his passing, his shooting, everything is just taking a huge leap. And that being said, I mean, you look at him, he's only, 21, going on 22 years old. Kako's the same thing. I mean, players click at different points in their careers. I mean, you look at a player like Zach Hyman. I mean, I know that's not the best example, but like players just figure it out. Sam Reinhart, they figured it out at different points of their career. Kako,
Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider,
whatever. Yeah, a home example. But you just look at Kako's skill set. You look at him controlling the puck behind the net, the plays that he does make, the spurts of very nice highlight reel plays, protecting the puck, fighting for the puck behind the net, getting in position. His defensive plays and his metrics are off the charts. So to me, it's only a matter of time for him as well. There are some games where I'm like, he just had, what was the game recently where I texted the group chat that he just had a horrible game? I think it was the game that I was at, the Panthers game, right? He just had a horrible game, and that's going to happen. But he's like, 22 years old? Yeah, he was picked number 2, but like to me, that doesn't mean anything. It's hard. These players, they get labels put on them, and then it's almost like a curse or like a stamp of like, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Like
you got to be a superstar right away, or you're a loss.
It's hard, and not every draft class is going to be that. No matter what.
I saw this little Ed. I saw this as of March 25th. So a week ago. Laffy had more even strength points this season than Jack Hughes, Alexander Barkov, Alex Ovechkin, Clayton Keller, Brad Marchand, Kevin Fiala, Steven Stamkos. I mean, these are really good players. That's a lot of good players. So give him power play time. Maybe his points are higher. I mean, maybe there's not a spot for him on the power play. Maybe coach has been right this whole time. I've been saying put him on the power play for 2 years, but maybe it's just not right. The Rangers have a great power play, and it is what it is. But
he'll get his opportunities.
Coach, go ahead.
Well, like you just said, I've been saying it for years when I was comparing him to the way they broke in Svechnikov or whatever his name is on Carolina, that he was learning the game. And now he's a bona fide all-around play. If you look at that first goal he got against Arizona, it's 100% what I explained in the coach's corner. His skates were pointing down ice. He was heading where he should be to back check in the offensive zone, heading back. All of a sudden, the play happened. He put the brakes on, turned around, got the puck, made the move. And not only that, when he got drafted, you said he's a passer. He's not really a scorer. I think he's studying the game, and he's making these little nifty little shots. He's beating the goalies where they can be beaten. He's not scoring every one on a freaking blazing one-timer from the Ovechkin spot. He's making that little backhand he put in against Arizona was right so in the spot where you have to beat the goalie. And that's something you learn from those coaches. What are those coaches we were questioning? The skills coaches. Yes. Yeah, the angle of the stick, the angle of the shot, getting in the right spot. He's making those little flip shots, those with the soft goals where it's not a soft goal, but it's that's not easy.
And it comes with confidence as well, right?
100%, yeah.
I want to see the next area of his game that can take a jump be his, and maybe I don't know if I have the right terminology for it, but I think his hands get a little softer receiving passes. When they're on the rush, I feel like when his line's out there, sometimes some of the plays break down because he doesn't, like he's almost thinking before he has it. At least watching him on the ice, he's not doing anything necessarily wrong, but it almost seems like it's the my father and I joke, like you hear the Looney Tunes sound effect when he first catches the puck, like his feet don't fail me now. He's so eager to go do something out there with it. And I feel like when he first catches it usually hops off his stick the first time, and then he gathers it and he makes the next play, and he makes the right play. Because I've felt from the get-go with him, he showed tremendous like hockey IQ. I thought it served him really well, especially in the playoffs in the 22 run where he was super involved in a lot of the games. But that finer points are coming for him, and it's been fun to watch.
Coach, I want to hear your thoughts on Kakko.
It's not so easy to play with a guy like Panarin, like we were saying last time, with Hyman playing with McDavid. You have to get yourself in Panarin's mind and get in a spot where Panarin can, that kind of stuff isn't easy at the speed of that game. And he's picking it up quick. If he was on the line with Hedl like he was in the beginning of the season, his season might not be going as good. But he's feeding off Panarin and Trocheck, and he's reading plays because he has that hockey IQ. As
Coach,
far
Heedle
as
hasn't played
Kako,
since like October. You can let it go.
all I'm saying is if he was the second line center and Lafreniere was on that line where he was in the beginning, his season might not be the same. It's a different player than Trocheck and Panarin. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a knock against Heedle. I just don't think it blends with the same hockey IQ.
Well, Heedle would have been there with Panarin though, so the only difference is Trocheck.
Well, that's the difference.
I'm just saying that's the only difference. But
As far as Kako,
Panarin.
I agree with Eddie. I'm going to say he is developing well. I mean, that wrist shot he had against the Islanders was beautiful. He's making some plays. He's definitely got it. I just get frustrated because, I think he should be doing a little better. The reason why I say let's trade him now is because they're not going to be able to afford to pay all these guys. So let's get something for somebody's got to go. That's inevitable. You have all these defensemen, all these forwards. You're not going to be able to give Kako $5-7 million, Laffy $5-7 million, and still have Panarin and this. It's something's got to happen. So
Coach Ed capologist.
Well, it's basic math. It's quick math. I don't know the numbers exactly, but it's quick math.
I think they'll be able to keep Kako. With the season he had, only 7. He's got 17 points right now. He can't be commanding $5 to $7 million. It's not going to happen.
It's a blessing in disguise that these guys are taking a little bit longer to develop. The team is still doing very well. I think Drury put the right pieces in place to carry this team until all these players are going to break out and then be able to carry the team for the next 5 to 10 years, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm no capologist either, but to me, I always trust what Drury's plan is. I think he's got a long-term plan and something that we might not even be realizing. That might even be going over Cousin Ed's head, which is hard to believe.
All right. on that note, let's turn it over to our stars of the week and get Nikki Blogs in for this one too. All right, Nikki, as a listener, I'm sure you're aware about our stars of the week, offensive player of the week, defensive player of the week, key contributor, highlight play, and then, of course, Coach Ed's copyright doghouse. All right, so we'll start with the offensive player of the week. Start with Little Ed. Give me your emoji here for your offensive player of the week. Did you draw emojis today?
I'm having trouble with the emojis because I can't get the colored markers to show up on the blackboard, but I tried my best. I did everything I could to find a player to take it away from Panarin, but it's just impossible right now. Panarin just gets the offensive star of the week again for like the 5th or 6th week in a row, I think. So it's you can't pick anybody else. It's crazy. Everyone else is performing at that level, but it's kind of like the MVP race in the NHL. You gotta take them.
I hear you, but I don't know, Mikey. Who'd you take?
All right.
This was also very hard for me to erase Panarin's name off of my board because I think I've had him as offensive player for like the last 8 weeks, if not more. But I definitely gave it to Laffy Taffy, man.
Same.
First career hat trick. I mean, the kid is just playing right now. He deserves a lot of love.
I did the same, Mikey. I'm with you. He had 5 goals in these 3 games, a few assists. He was 1 point behind Panarin. Panarin's only goal was an empty netter. If you're going to take it away from Panarin, despite the points, it's going to be now. Otherwise, it's never,
The only thing that Panarin had a point in every game, Laffy didn't, and Panarin also had the shootout goal.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Panarin, you can't go wrong with
Laffy didn't get
a chance. Laffy was going to be my pick, but then I was like, I can't. You got to stick with him.
Nikki, who'd you take?
I'm going to go with Kreider. You could probably name the award after Artemi Panarin. You could make it the Artemi Panarin Offensive Player of the Week award, at least this season. But I'm going to go with Kreider. Hit the milestone, scored a big one in Colorado too, which led to a major Kreider scream, which is always a highlight moment of any game too, when he just starts yelling at nothing. But
Man, you really are a Kreider lover, huh? Jeez. Comes on, first star of the week. Kreider, 1 goal.
Two, and a big one in Colorado is a big one. The Avalanche game was another really good win for this group, and I like having them. I want to see them heat up before the playoffs. So I'm hoping it's the start of something, and for the sake of not giving Artemi the same award every time, I'll go with Chris.
I love it. Coach.
I'm going with Brett. I mean, Laffy's right there. Brett had 1 more point. He was in big on a lot. And plus, I think what you have him is +6 in these 3 games. I think that's the big story of his season to me, is not only his points and his record, his career leading points for himself, but he's +21 or +25 or something. I think that's the sign of how he's playing, and I'm giving it to Brett. He's showing a lot. I pick on him a lot, but I got to give it to him. He's showing a lot.
That line had a wild game against the Coyotes. Trocheck was +6 in that game alone. Craziness. All right.
I mean, Trocheck could have got offensive player of the week also. He was putting up numbers every game he was involved. You know, it's a tough one.
It is tough. Defensive player of the week. We'll start with Mikey Produces on this one. Who you got?
Oh, you're not going a little Ed, huh? This is going to Coach Ed's favorite, number 4, Schneids. The kid has just been playing, man, especially with Trouba. I know Trouba came back, but it's just been fantastic to watch him play hockey this season.
I like the pick. I went with Lindgren. I think Lindgren gets a lot of hate from Rangers fans, man. It's kind of crazy. I know he's had like a little bit of a down year.
I don't know how they can hate.
I'm telling you, I read the internet a lot, and Rangers fans are very down on Lindgren. They think he's overrated. They think he's a heart and soul guy who kills offense, and Fox needs a better partner. It's kind of crazy. But, you know, look, there's more to hockey than points, like Coach Ed always says. And Lindgren got points in these games. He had a 3-point game against the Coyotes. So he got some points, and he's just so effective defensively when he's on. And I feel like he's been on top of his game in the last few games. So I went with him. Nikki, who you got?
I am going to go with Adam Fox. Great call on Schneider, Mikey. This has been his best season yet. Ryan Lindgren is Dan Girardi's long lost son. So there's no way you can be hating on Lindy, but to my pick, Adam Fox, it's been really great to see him over the last 2 months or so become more like Adam Fox. He was victimized a bit in the Flyer game with some goals against, but I kind of felt like the rotating partners, that was the game with Scanlon and Ruedel and Jones. And Jones has been great as well, but it just felt like that was an off night for everybody in that one. But Fox has been his usual self, and scoring the OT winner to clinch the playoff spot was a cherry on top for him against Philly.
Love that. Coach Ed.
Fox, that was a good one. I went with Schneids. I watched that Avalanche game. I watched him play against McKinnon, and I watched him play well against McKinnon. I really focused on when he was out there with him, and I was very impressed. He's only 22, right? 23. What is he? The kid is just shut down. And again, people who are watching the game, if they watch Lindgren play without the puck and they don't see how he defends, Schneider does something very similar. These guys are NHL high-level defensemen.
Yeah. Little Ed.
You guys make a good case for Schneider, but I stuck with Fox for this week again. I think he's just having an unbelievable, season other than his injury, obviously. Hit the 50 assist mark, and he's just playing great defense. Cuz sent the stat that without Trouba, he was blocking all the shots, and he powered through the little time without Lindgren. And, it just seems like no matter when he's on the ice, he's a threat, whether it's offensive or defensively at this point. So he's just doing it all right now, and he's right back in the Norris Trophy conversation on all the major platforms out there. So
I don't know if you saw the pregame tonight with Henrik.
No, I missed it tonight.
But Giannone asked him about Fox, and Henrik looks at him and he goes, "Give me one word to describe Fox in this season." Henrik looks at him and goes, "Stud."
Yeah, he's just something else. In the past, I've given him a hard time about his maybe defensive ability, but I can't argue with that anymore. He just got it all.
He's in the Colorado game. He got a couple little bad penalties recently, but the Rangers are killing him well. So.
Yeah, stick penalties. But in the Colorado game, Coach, he had 6 blocks in that game. Trouba comes back against Arizona. He had 0. So I was saying this when Trouba was out, and all the fans online are like, "Oh, Trouba sucks." Blah, blah. I'm like, listen, Trouba plays an important role. You want Fox blocking 6 shots a game, or do you want Trouba blocking those shots?
But at the same time, the Rangers gave up 5 goals.
Somebody's going to block the shots. You can't have a team full of Foxes. You're going to lose them to injury when they block shots, right? Like, I'd rather Trouba be blocking them.
I mean, I think the bigger sign of that is that Fox stepped up in the game against Colorado and probably took it a little easier in the game against Arizona. You had, in order to beat Colorado, you're going to have to step up, and everybody's got to be blocking shots.
Yeah, but Coach, in the Arizona game, Trouba had 4 blocks, Schneider had 5. So they're still blocking shots. I understand
what you know. Oh, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying maybe Fox said, I don't really have to block this shot.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
They gave up 5 goals that game, so maybe if you blocked a few, it would have made a difference.
No, Fox is...
take the award away from him.
Fox is, you watch him play, and the way he handles that puck is just incredible.
He's a stud for sure. All right, Key Contributor Award. Let's start this one off with Little Ed. Key Contributor.
I had to give one to Trocheck. I mean, you can name this award after him. So we're going with Troche. He just does it all. He's just a hockey player. Shout out to our fan Pete out there. I was texting with him the other day, and he just defines what a hockey player is. His look, his grit, his style of play, winning faceoffs, back checking, checking, Trochecking. He's got it all.
He just loves to come to the rink, Joe.
Yeah, I took Trocheck too. Nick, who'd you take?
I'm going to go with Alex Wenberg. I know he's not really doing things that show up on the stat sheet, but I think he's doing a lot of the little things. He's eating a lot of defensive matchups. That line, no matter who's been on it, has been good. He's kind of had the rotating. It's been him and Kakko have been the constant, but there's been some Cooley and Brodzinski, a little bit of rotating cast, but they do a lot of dirty work. They forecheck well. He's winning faceoffs. He's killing penalties. He's even picked up a goal or 2 along the way. So I really like Wenberg's game. I think he's come as advertised from Seattle.
All right, Mikey, who you got?
I'm going with Troche also.
Yeah.
All the points you guys said. I mean, as well as a season that Panarin's having, I think if you take Trocheck off of this team, the Rangers aren't even as close. I think Trocheck might be our MVP, but
especially with as bad as Meek has been. Coach,
I went with Laffy. I had to give Laffy some love, obviously, with the hat trick. I thought he had a really good game against Colorado as well, 2 ways. Just all around. The Flyer game, it was a great 3 games for him, and I have to give him some love.
Yeah, all right. So now let's go to the highlight play of the week. We mentioned it already. I'll start us off because I never do. I took the Laff backhand goal. That whole play, the Trocheck dive in the corner, just the whole entire play. I thought that was just a really hardworking goal and a beautifully skilled goal as well. So I took that one. There's a lot to choose from here. There's a lot of goals scored in these games. So, Nikki, what's your highlight of the week here?
It may be cheating because it wasn't actually done.
Don't say cry. Don't say cry.
No. You
say cry to. You say cry to Mike. Send them off the show.
The kiss on Kreider's helmet.
No. Goals scored from 2 feet out don't necessarily qualify as highlight play of the week.
No, I like that open face. He gets those nice tips. I'm not.
He does.
That's deflected. Yeah.
I was going to say this actually didn't take place within the game. It took place in the skills competition after the game ends, known as the shootout. But I'm going to go with Trocheck's winner in Colorado.
I got, baby.
I can't stand Alex Georgiev. I didn't like him when he was here. I got him almost every time I went in 2022. He played like 5 games and he was horrible. And he complained all the time when he was here too about how he didn't get enough playing time despite being stuck behind a surefire Hall of Famer and then a Hall of Fame talent in Shesterkin. It's ridiculous. And then he showed us up last year at the Garden too. I have enjoyed them
Not
beating
since
him
then.
3 straight games. It's been great. So well done, Vinny.
Yeah, I think he's horrible.
He will get them eliminated again. I will call my shot now. They will go out early because he will screw something up along the way. He did last year against Seattle.
Yeah, he doesn't show up in big games. I agree with you. They don't have the goaltending this year. I went with Laffy's snipe against Arizona. I think reason being, I think that showed his confidence. I think the old Laffy would have tried the first goal of the game. I think the old Laffy would have passed that puck or tried to get it over to Trocheck just because that's like the right thing to do as a young player passing to a veteran, you know. But now he's got that confidence to look off the pass. The goalie probably thought pass, and he just put that right over his shoulder. It was beautiful. Just a snipe.
All right. I like that. Coach, what do you got?
I went with the Troche shootout goal. Ice in that game. That was freaking dynamite. That was a big win, man.
Mikey.
I'm going to give Mika some love in this one, and I'm going to his shorthanded pass against Philly to Trocheck to go up 4-3. That was a beautiful play.
It was a great play.
That was a beautiful play.
There was a lot of highlights in that Philly game. If that was the last game they played, everyone would have highlights from that game for sure.
If it wasn't for Laugh, Brodzinski would have won Snipe of the Week because he roofed one on the Urson from the Flyers out of nowhere. He just popped up off the boards and ripped it.
Ooh, Snipe of the Week. I kind of like that. We might have to consider Snipe of the Week in
how about that pass from Fox to Lindgren?
Segment.
Yeah,
Fox to Lindgren in the Phoenix in the Arizona game.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about snipe.
Yeah. All right, it's time for Coach Ed's Copyright Doghouse Award, sponsored by Suiter's Sweet Treats. Oh man, I love that. You guys got to go to YouTube and watch that transition. It's so good.
The only thing that would have made it better if you were wearing your cowboy hat also.
No, it's perfect with the ski mask.
With the skull cap. With the ski mask.
It's perfect.
All my friends at the tailgate said they loved Coach cooking. They loved it. It was the highlight of the day.
The best part of that was that he was just cooking, and he goes, and I'm standing by the grill going like this. And he goes, take a picture of me and send it to Kathy. So I do it, and it just happened to like be right where he's got like the bun open, like I don't know, it's just a perfect photo. Anyway, Suiter's Sweet Treats. I got a beautiful birthday card, a jumbo birthday card from the Suiter sisters. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Check them out at Suiter's Sweet Treats. There's 2 S's and 2 T's there. On Instagram and also on Etsy, Suiter's Sweet Treats as well. Suiter's Sweets and More. I always mess that up. You got to put it up on the screen, Mikey, so I don't screw it up. Suiter's Sweets and More on Etsy. Check them out. Order cookies. They're awesome. They come vacuum sealed. They're really, really good. So you definitely check out Suiter's Sweet Treats. All right, Coach Ed. Last week you had an empty doghouse. Rangers went 3-0. Is anybody in the doghouse?
How many goals did the Rangers get in these 3 games?
Get?
Yeah.
I think I sent you an outline.
6-3.
6-3
plus 8.
17.
9 plus 8, 17.
How many did Keandre have? How many points did Keandre have?
You got this thing for Keandre. I don't understand. You get like this with certain guys, and you do not let it go.
That's what the doghouse is about.
Why are you like this? Like,
there it is. Fans, head on over to YouTube to check out the doghouse.
You're giving it to Mika. You're giving it to Mika because he's got no points, this, that. The Rangers had 16 regulation goals. He had 0 points.
No,
Well, they had
yeah,
15 regulation
15
goals.
regulation goals.
No, 8, 6.
They beat the Flyers in overtime, and they beat the Avalanche in a shootout. So
all right. So 8, 5, and 2. 14 goals.
whatever.
What? They had 15 goals in regulation, 1 in overtime, and a shootout victory.
Okay, so
that's 17.
15. He had 0. 0 points.
All right. So Keandre goes out. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, you're just obsessed with Keandre and that he sucks. He doesn't suck, but it's okay.
Because you
like,
know what?
Like,
I watch him play even
no,
tonight.
because you did this with
He had to-
Buchnevich, then you did it with
No.
Hedl, and now you're doing it to Keandre. You
And was
need
I
a
wrong
guy
with
to hate.
Buchnevich and Hedl? No.
Yes, he's a point per game player. Buchnevich. Yes, you were wrong.
All right, so now he's
wrong.
Sidney Crosby. He's a career point per game player, Buchnevich.
No, he's a current point per game player.
You could have him. Twice I saw Keandre. He had the guy scores, and he just throws his hands up like, oh, I did all I can do. Get under his stick. Don't let the guy get his stick on the puck.
Dude,
Tonight,
it's
the
terrible.
same thing. Trouba makes the bad play, yes, but then Keandre's on the guy, and the guy still deflects it in. Got to get under his stick. He's right there. The guy's 6'5".
It happens way too much, blown coverages, and his old excuse is he's got the offensive ability, and like Coach just said, no points. So I'll go next. I want what?
Tough. Go, little Larry.
Me?
Last week you had Kreider in the doghouse. Is he out?
Yeah, Kreider's out. He definitely, like I said, showing some emotion. He's making the plays behind the net, showing some grit and stuff. So I'm just gonna go with Zibby, mostly for the kiss on the helmet, but mainly because similar to Miller in this stretch, just not very impressive. He had a few assists, right? No goals. 1 goal against the Flyers. So to me, that's not good enough for a player like Zibanejad. I know he's playing. He's not playing poorly overall. He's playing pretty well defensively out there, making some plays, but that's not what we're used to from him. So he's definitely having an off year. Hopefully, he's able to dig down deep for some energy for the playoffs, because I don't think he's got it right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had Kreider and Zibanejad both in last week. I'm taking Kreider out. I'm leaving Zibanejad in. I mean, the Rangers scored 8 goals against Arizona. He played the second most ice time of all forwards on the team, and he somehow managed 0 goals, 0 assists, +0, and 1 shot on goal. I mean, that's just not an effect. He's not being effective. I get it. He plays a defensive role, but he can't just play a defensive role. They're not paying him $8.5 million to center the first line, play on the power play, and not score a point per game. He's got to be at a point per game for me. He doesn't have to be a 100-point guy, but he's got to be 75, 85 points and shut down center to be worth that contract. If he's not doing that, he's not worth that contract. And that's it, period. And he's underperforming. That's it. Keandre is a second pairing D. He makes some mistakes. He's 22 years old. He's going to make mistakes. He's only played the position for 3 years, Joe. I mean, come on. He's figuring it out, you know. Zibanejad is a 30-year-old number 1 center who makes $8.5 million. The standards are different for me. That's all.
No, you're right. We just went on and on about Kakko and Laffy, giving them time. Miller's no different. But what drives me crazy is that, like, Miller gets all the attention all over social media and NHL Network and stuff. Like, he's this phenomenal defenseman already, and he's just not. I mean, you got to give him some time. He's just not there.
Yeah, he'll get there.
You know,
he's good. He'll get there. He's got a lot of skill.
Maybe it's just me being just, I don't know, not confident in my own abilities now, because I'm questioning myself. Because if everyone else is seeing it and we're missing it, maybe I'm just not a good defensive coach. Who knows?
No, I think you just always you guys always disagree with like the mainstream view of defensemen. Like whenever a defenseman is viewed as like good by like the NHL Network or whatever, like you guys are always like very critical of that player. I just noticed that. I don't know if it's intentional or if you're just seeing them too much and you're really focusing on them, right? Because you're seeing their names, like Subban when he was hot. You know, you got Carlson. Yeah, you guys then you focus on them and you're like, yeah, this guy's not as good as they're saying. So I just think you get, you know,
I think the league just has different. Yeah, I think they just have a different definition than we do. which is very clear.
Well, Keandre's going to get the third star of the game tonight in a losing effort. And you're going to.
I was thinking that before. After that,
Pittsburgh Penguin third star of the game, Keandre Miller.
Mikey,
all right,
who you got?
Oh yeah, go to Mikey.
Oh, Nick.
Mikey. No,
Mikey.
Last week, Mikey. Last week you had Zibby and Kreider in.
Yeah, Kreider's out. Good for him. His numbers are going in the rafters. Mika's staying in. There's just no question about it. We need, like Cousin Ed said, I fully agree with everything you said.
I love it. Thank you. Somebody agrees with me. Finally, after 4 or 5 years of doing this podcast, I got one of my co-hosts to agree with me. Nicky,
I agree with you.
Yeah, you like agree. You're like, yeah, I guess. Like
with Mika, I agree with you 100%.
All right, Nicky.
I don't want to make this like an attack on him, especially because I know he's well liked here, and I think he's had an awesome season, really, considering his in and out of the lineup role. But I'm going to go with Zach Jones. I just thought this past week was probably the toughest week he's had in what's been a really good stretch. He just had some mental lapses with the puck and some mismanagement. I mentioned when Fox had kind of a tough night against the Flyers last week. Jones put him in some bad positions, couldn't get pucks off the corner. The Flyers really forechecked well in that game. They actually showed up and got off the bus, unlike they did against the Blackhawks on Sunday. But Philly played on the front foot. They played aggressively, and Jones kind of put himself in some bad spots and just coughed some pucks up. He'll learn. He's come a long way this year. I think he probably won himself a job for next year. But it just was a tough week for him.
Really? Talk about seeing things differently.
No, I mean, look,
I didn't want to kill Brandon Scanlon. I felt like that was punching down, so I'll leave him alone.
I thought that kid played pretty good without the puck.
I felt like foot speed was
for
a little
his
bit
first game. There, but... Well, I'm not saying he's Keandre Miller, but you know,
Nick, listen, you're getting involved with this podcast. Let me explain something to you, just so you know, okay? Coach Ed just has these random views. You're never going to understand them. Don't try. He thinks Miller sucks, but Brandon Scanlon's good. There you go. That just explains it. Like, and he'll keep that till the end of time. It will not change. That's it. That's his opinion. He watched it, and that's it.
Well, if I may, I respect fans, no matter what the opinion is, that watch the games, like you guys all do. To quote my favorite radio host, Mad Dog Russo, watch the games. Watch the games. Build an opinion off of that. It's the most informative way to do it.
Mike and the Mad Dog.
You and I last time we disagreed. I actually was. I haven't been Buchnevich biggest fan. I wasn't when he was here. I admit that. I hope that someone takes my receipts for I didn't like Jack Roslovic when he scores the cup winning goal in June. I didn't like the trade. I didn't like the deadline. But we all have our reasons. As long as you have a reason that's based on some fact, it's fine.
Yeah, I love it. We can disagree and still keep it moving. All right. So we got Mikey P with a couple. We got Mrs. 150 and Mr. 150. We got a fantasy update. I can't wait for this. Let's go to that. Mikey, produce these. I want this fantasy update for the Rangers Ed Fantasy League.
The trivia, it's time to throw it over to Mikey P with your Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150. Wildcard races in the East and West are going crazy right now, with teams flying up and down the standings in both conferences. With around 9 games to go, give or take, for each team, there's certainly more fireworks to come. Around the league, out west in the Pacific Division, Vancouver and Edmonton are still in the 1 and 2 spots, but losses to Edmonton and Calgary dropped the Kings out of the top 3 into 4th, while Vegas jumped out of the wild card and up into the top 3 on the heels of a 3-0-1 week. As it stands, Edmonton is 6 back of Vancouver with 2 in hand, and with a difficult April schedule of Dallas, Vegas, Vancouver, and Colorado twice. Vancouver has an equally tough schedule in April with Vegas twice, LA, Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg on the docket. So there's certainly going to be a dogfight for that number 1 spot in the division down the stretch. On to the Central, where Dallas is firmly planted in that number 1 spot, 3 points ahead of the Colorado Avalanche, who do have a game in hand on the Stars. Colorado had their 9-game win streak snapped on Tuesday night with a 2-1 loss to the Montreal Canadiens, followed it up with a second loss on Thursday in a shootout to the New York Rangers. Winnipeg is still in that third place position for the time being, but with the way they've been playing lately, it would not be any bit of a shock to see them fall to fourth and have Nashville jump up into that top 3 spot. As it stands, Nashville is 4 points back of the Jets, all square on games played, and these two teams will face off one more time this season. The West Wild Card, we currently have Nashville in the number 1 spot with 90 points, followed by LA in the 2 spot with 87. And our third on the wild card list is St. Louis, and they are 5 back of LA, having played 1 more game. On to the East and the Atlantic Division, where the standings are going crazy. Boston is currently back up in that number 1 spot with a 2-point lead over the Florida Panthers and 1 more game played than the Cats. Toronto is still in that 3rd place spot, but their lead over the 4th place Bolts has shrunk to just 4 points, all square on games played. The Bolts are 8-1-1 through their last 10, and these two teams will face off twice more this season. The last matchup is on April 17th, which is the last game of the season for both clubs. So that 3rd place spot may be up for grabs until the last day of the regular season. Finally, on to the Metro, where the Rangers and Hurricanes are still in the 1 and 2 spots, but the Washington Capitals have leapfrogged the Philadelphia Flyers and taken over that 3 spot. Caps and Flyers are currently tied in points and regulation wins, but the Caps have 2 in hand on the Flyers, and it's hard to see them losing both flat out with the way Ovechkin is playing at the moment. The Islanders and Devils are still on the fringe with 77 and 76 points apiece, respectively, especially for the Isles, who do have 2 in hand on the Flyers and are only 5 points back. Making the playoffs is not out of the question by any means for either of these clubs. The Islanders and Flyers do play tonight, so be sure to tune in, as that will surely be a great affair. The East wild card, Tampa is currently in that number 1 spot, 4 points back of Toronto for 3rd in the Atlantic. And Philly is in that 2 wild card spot, 2 ahead of Detroit, with having played 1 more game. Detroit gets a regulation If Detroit gets a regulation win tonight against Tampa, they'll move up into that 3rd wild card spot and push Philly out of contention. We got 4 for the Blue Shirts this week. On Monday tonight, they're at home against the Pens. On Wednesday, they're home against the Devils. Then they head out to Detroit for Friday night's game. And finally, they're back home on Sunday to face the Habs. Lots of great hockey this week. Be sure to tune in. And until next week, this has been your 150.
Welcome to your Rangers Ed Fantasy League update. The quarterfinals are over, so let's hop right into the recap. Starting with our championship bracket. You're going to lose to a girl, and the Massholes both enjoyed their bye weeks, but not as much as Cousin Ed probably enjoyed Coach Ed mismanaging his roster and not meeting his goalie requirements. It looked like Coach Ed was going to win this one, but Cousin Ed came out on top, going 9-6-9.
Oh, man.
The other quarterfinal was a battle of the Goliaths.
Coach,
Hard
you
to
blew
believe
it.
True Troubatrain and Rise of Gautier ended up being the 4-5 game. In a tight matchup this week, Troubatrain squeaked ahead, winning 8-5-1 over Gautier thanks to some strategic last-minute trades. Looking at our consolation bracket, Little Ed's Workshoppers walloped Lucarelli Law, going 12-3-0. Similarly, Oscar's Pro Stitch kicked fake Coach Ed's butt, winning 10-4-1. The semifinals are happening this week, and we have some monster mashups as our bigwig buys get in on the fun. Troubatrain is going to lose to a girl. Cousin Ed hopes the Massholes forgets to set his lineups too, although that's not likely. And Coach Ed gets 1 more shot to finish in 5th place if he pulls out a win over Rise of Gautier. Little Ed has a tough matchup against Devil's State of Mind, while things might continue looking up for Mikey Produces in his match against Oscar's Pro Stitch. Finally, the one I'm sure we've all been waiting for, 11th and 12th place, will finally be decided as Lucarelli Law and Coach Ed's Potato Knishes go head-to-head one last time. Who's going to make it into the finals? Tune in next week to find out.
Coach, how did you not meet your goalie requirement?
Well, I didn't really pay attention like you do. I could just see you frantically you were making moves every day to beat me.
You only get 5 ads, so I couldn't have done it every day.
What a farce. You got the penalty minutes. That's a farce.
So let me tell you guys a story. So Coach Ed was beating me 8-6, and I had to go for shutouts. I had no choice. So on Sunday, I add Vancouver's 3rd string goalie against Anaheim's backup goalie, hoping one of them gets a shutout. And the final score is 8-6. I look at the thing. I'm like, God damn it. And then I realized that Coach Ed's team had only 37 saves. And I'm like, how the hell did his goalies only have 37 saves? I clicked, his goalies only played 2 games, and there's a minimum requirement of at least 3 games to qualify. So I ended up winning all the goalie categories because Coach Ed didn't set his lineup properly.
We're turning that
So-
rule off next year because that
Yeah,
killed
that's-
me also.
No, you
Not
have
enough
to
good-
have that rule because otherwise what'll happen is the first night of the week, your goalie gets a shutout and you're like, that's it. And you don't play anybody and you win save percentage, you win shutouts, you win everything. You have to play at least a few games in net. You have to have a minimum.
All right, so how do I
There's gotta be a
change
way
a goalie
around it.
if I only have 2 goalies on the roster?
You add one off
You gotta
free
pick one
agents.
up, coach.
You got to go pick one up. It's a pain
You gotta
in the
drop.
ass.
You gotta drop Panarin. You gotta
There's
drop
not enough
Panarin.
good goalies in the league.
You got to have
That's
at least 3
bullshit.
goalies on your team. You got to have at least 3 goalies on your team. Come on. It's amateur hour over here. But I'll
That's
take it.
bullshit. You backed
I'll
into
take
the
it.
playoffs. You
And,
got
Cor-
lucky.
Corso texted me and he goes,
I didn't want to.
man,
I
I
didn't
can't
want to
wait to
see you
hear him
cry.
bitch on the episode.
I don't want to see you crying for weeks after I beat you.
He goes like, I was hoping you beat me. I was like, damn, there's no money in this league. It's fine. It would have been great content. But it's even better content that you just didn't set your line.
I hate that rule. So am I in the playoffs or not?
No, you're in the consolation bracket,
All right.
which is it's called the losers
All right.
bracket.
Better than nothing.
Anyway, couple updates. I saw the Islanders beat the Flyers in overtime, and Detroit beat Tampa. So the East is getting crazy. I don't know. The East is getting insane. So
The Eastern.
I think we have. Yeah, the East. We got 2. The Flyers have 83 points. The Capitals have 82. The Red Wings have 82, and the Islanders have 79. So,
feels like
it's
none of them
getting-
won it.
it's getting wild. But all
Wait,
right,
the
let's
Wild are
jump.
in it?
No, they're out. Let's jump to the trivia, Mikey.
Before we jump to trivia, Mikey's 150 was brought to you by Sorrento's. All right,
Yeah, boy, Mikey.
Everyone remember to get out there and get your pizza, your game day pizza. I'm coming up to New York in 2 weeks, and I am definitely hitting Sorrento's. I'm going to be in New York for about 18 hours, and 2 of those hours will be spent at Sorrento's. So,
Put the order in ahead of time.
yeah.
Two of them.
Hey, it gets pretty crowded in there, cuz.
Hey, how about it? How about before we get to trivia? How about a little love for Laviolette rotating those guys in the bottom 6 and keeping them a little full of energy and a little competitive, like we talked about last time.
I feel like
Yeah.
he's not rotating them anymore, though. He's just sitting.
Yeah, he's
empty.
putting in Brzezinski. He's getting guys in and out. I think he's doing a little crafty little job there.
Got to get Rempe back in.
Oh, don't get me started.
The crowd wants Rempe in, man. Every game I just hear, we want Rempe.
Hopefully he's in. Hopefully he's in against the Devils Wednesday night.
Oh man,
Oh, I hope he's in.
He has to.
McDermott's gonna fight him for sure.
Coach Ed and I
All
will
right.
be in attendance.
Oh man, I hope he's
Wednesday.
in. All right, trivia.
All right, so this isn't a full Rangers trivia question. This is a trivia question about a player that plays on the Rangers. All right. I'm looking for a number closest to without going over, and I'll give you a bonus point if you give me the year. What is Jonathan Quick's highest win total so far in his NHL career, and what year did he do it in?
Oof.
I took a shot in the dark on this one.
See, we got potential for 2 points. Coach Ed, you got to put a little closer. 38, 2014. Little Ed's got 42 in 2012. Cousins got 40 in 13 and 14. What do you got, Nikki?
No.
Any guesses?
I'm going to go 36 in 2014, I'll say.
All right, well, it's unfortunate, but Cousin Ed hit it on the head with 40 wins.
Oh, let's go. It's unfortunate.
40 wins, but it was in
Oh,
2015-16 season.
Wow, really?
Ah.
Late. All right.
Those
Yeah, I'll
Kings
take the
teams were
point.
all very weird. They didn't win a lot of regular season games.
Good job, cuz.
I'll take the point.
Look
I
at
knew it
Cuz
wasn't
looking it up.
12, 8. No, I was entering it into the spreadsheet because I track all of this. There was one week, episode 109, where I got 8 points, Little Ed got 9, and Coach Ed got 8, and I'm not sure how that happened. I don't know. I don't remember the trivia question, but there was a 9-point question apparently in one point.
Well, no, we had to name 10 players or something.
Yeah, some crazy nonsense.
We'll bring it back one time.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Nikki, thank you for joining us for this episode. Fans, make sure you check out YouTube. Check out the episode on YouTube. There's a lot of visual stuff in the episode and Coach Ed's face's reaction to things and stuff that you need to watch. Also, check out on Friday, we'll be dropping an episode of Inside the Ranger Room. We've been teasing it for a while, so make sure you check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to look at some of our souvenirs. This week, the theme is going to be Henrik Lundqvist Hall of Fame night. So definitely check that out. And thank you to our sponsors. Who else is there to thank? Oh, we didn't mention Bella or Old Country Tile this week because no Coach's Corner and no fights, but definitely thank you to them for contributing to our podcast. And if you're remodeling your home, that's the people to use, right, Coach?
Yeah, Old Country Tile in Westbury, New York, and Bella Marble over in Oceanside. They'll handle all your finishing touches on your kitchen, bathroom, living room, basement floors, whatever you need to do to finish off the Ranger Room.
There you go. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Not too late to go back to YouTube to check out our interview with Anna Garcia, EA the PA's injury report, and also our recent Coach's Corner talking about team defense and back pressure. And I think that about covers it for the sponsors. Nick, anything you want to discuss? Anything upcoming with the blog and the website?
Just stay tuned for more. We're going to have another Nights on Broadway Ranger recap this week. We'll have it Around the Rink. We are also going to launch Around the Horn. That's our weekly baseball series. And I do have to shout out my fabulous producer / content creator for social media / research assistant, Brianna, my girlfriend, doing a fabulous job here. Another production assistant evening for her.
I've done nothing tonight.
She's not even giving herself any credit, guys. See, that she's a harsh critic for herself.
She's
we
part
will be
of
at
the
the
team
game Sunday against Montreal, so there'll be some game
Wait,
day
so-
content coming.
Wait, you had her sitting there next to you the whole episode without
She's
wearing
been-
headphones, and
She's been joined in.
and
What do you mean she's clued in?
didn't even put her on the screen or anything and introduce her or say hello.
Yeah.
It's up to her. It's not up to me. I don't call the shots.
All right, she wants to
She's
be
out.
behind the scenes, but
My
everyone
Lord.
out there, Brianna is part of the team as well, the partnership.
She is. She is a
Hello.
big part of the breakdown team. We're very excited for everything we
Yes.
got going here.
Yeah, check out Nikki's blog at BroadwayBreakdown.com. You're going to see some Rangers Ed stuff on there. He's going to be joining us. We'll be joining his podcast. It's going to be a good partnership. Nikki, looking forward to it. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us. Fans, thank you for spending your Tuesday in the car with us. Let's go Rangers. Let's win a few more games. Get that President's Trophy locked in. I'm ready for the playoffs, boys. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Go,
Let's
boys.
do it.
Speaking of playoffs, one thing we didn't mention with Nikki, we're going to be releasing as many episodes, as many short episodes, reaction episodes for the playoffs as we can. So a little bit more than just the full weekly episode. They're going to be a lot shorter and hopefully more often to keep you guys live up to date with all playoff coverage. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, when we say short, we mean instead of an hour and 45 minutes, like an hour
Exactly.
and 35 minutes.
It makes a difference.
All right, guys.
Hopefully
Have a
30
good
to
night.
40 minutes.
Yeah, or less. Or
Yeah.
less. All right,
Love you guys. Good night.
Love you guys.
Love you. Have a good night.
Hey, gang.
Let's go Rangers.